What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a classic story talking about a time where I hooked up with a girl while I was on coke. So, hope you guys do enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do. And also, I want to apologize for not uploading yesterday. I was going to upload every day this week, but yesterday shit just came up, so I'm probably going to double upload sometime later in the week to make up for that. So, keep an eye out for that. And also, I've been reading some comments of people saying, other stuff besides drug stories would be cool. So I'm going to be pumping out some more other stories that aren't drug related. So this is a drug related one, but this week there will also be stories that aren't drug related. So just letting you guys know in advance. But either way, hope you guys do enjoy and let's dive into it. So hooking up on coke. Now, this happened, I want to say a little over a year ago. This was back in April of 2016. And at this point, there was this girl who I was on and off talking to. And we're going to call her Nicole. Now, hold on. I'm going to take off my headset here so I can really get into this story. So, Nicole and I were kind of on and off. We weren't really dating. We were just kind of a thing where for a short period of time, we were committed to each other. But not really, because I agreed to that when I was drunk. And then I woke up the next day and read through our texts and was just well, shit, what have I done? But anyway, so, she'd occasionally come over and we'd have a hoot and a holler. And at this particular point, she hits me up. She's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, not shit. You free right now? You want to come over? Now, right before I texted her this, or not right before, right after I texted her this, I realized I had a little bit of coke left. I didn't have any weed left. So I wanted to get fucked up on something. So, I'm like, yeah, come over. She was like, I'm free. I was like, all right, just come through right now. So she hops in her car. She lives 10 minutes away, so not a crazy drive. So I'm kicking it on my couch. I go in my room. I stored all my narcotic goods in my backpack in my room. That was just the spot to put everything for me. Well, not everything, but for the most part. So bust open my backpack. I still had a couple lines worth of coke left. I didn't have a ton. So I chopped up 2 lines right there on my desk, just sat down on my computer waiting for her to come through, railed a couple lines. Now, I don't really know why I did this because, at least from my experience, coke and sex, or really just coke and any activity involving making love to a woman as a whole is just not fun, and even though we didn't fuck on this particular day, which we probably would have had I not been coked up, but I was geeked out, so either way, it's just not fun. When I'm on coke, I want to listen to really hype music and either ride in a car, that's going kind of fast, or even drive a car, but I wouldn't want to drive when I'm coked up because I always just fucking floor it, or just go out and just walk around. I want to do something physical when I'm on coke, I don't want to I don't, something physically exciting, I guess. I don't want to sit there and, fuck a girl because I'm not horny, that's for Molly. But anyways, so I railed these couple lines of coke. It was a hoot and a holler. It was the last bit of what I had left. And at this point, I wasn't doing coke super actively. It was more every now and then I'd just rail a line if I wanted to, because fuck it. It wasn't even a weekly thing. It was pretty infrequent at this point in time, if I remember correctly. And I railed these couple lines, a couple minutes pass by. I'm already feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty geeked up. And, the one thing when I'm on coke is this is probably how it is for a lot of you guys if you've had experience with it. If you haven't, don't get the experience. Don't fucking do it. But if you have, you'll maybe understand what I'm talking about here. When I say when I'm on coke, I don't really want to deal with people. I don't want to have to sit there and conversate with someone, and after I reeled these lines, I was sitting there and she's texting me on my way, and I'm texting her back, and I kind of realized I don't even want her to come over at this point. But at the same time, I was like, fuck it. She's already coming. I'm just not going to say anything. So I'm kicking it. I'm kind of walking around my house. I'm sitting down, then I get up and walk around my living room a little bit because I was trying to get some of my energy out, do my thing. I went out on the porch and I was smoking a cigarette, and she pulls up as I'm halfway through my cigarette. Now, I'm feeling real geeked at this point. I'm real hyped up. My eyes were probably wide as fuck. I didn't really know. I'm ripping the square. She hops out, comes and gives me a hug. Excuse me. She's like, hey, I'm like, hey, what's good? You want a square? She's like, sure. So I bum her one. I had the classic cowboy killers, the Marlboro Reds. They're just a hoot and a holler. If you're intoxicated on anything, there is nothing that hits the spot better than a Marlboro Red. Let me tell you, they just, oh my god, they go wild. Especially with an amphetamine like coke or something. But anyways, so we're smoking our squares, we're talking for a little bit. I finish mine before she finishes, so I'm just kind of standing there, like walking up and down my porch while she's like talking to me. And she asked me, she's like, "Are you on something right now?" And I was like, "Why do you ask?" And she's like, she's like, "You won't stop moving." And one of my other things is like, I just fidget a lot. Like even normally, like when I'm sober, I fidget a lot. I don't really. It's probably my ADD. I don't know, but when I'm on coke, especially, I just, even if I'm standing still, if my legs aren't moving, my arms are just doing something, like at all times. Like I'm just swinging my arms, I'm messing with my fingers, just wiggling my fingers, some shit. I'm never like sitting stationary. So I'm like, yeah, I reeled a couple lines. She was like, "Oh, nice." Like she didn't really have anything to say. I expected her to be like pissed or something. I don't really know why, because she did drugs too. But she was just like, "Oh, nice." So she finishes her square. We go back inside. We're sitting on my couch for a little bit and we're watching some TV. We're like watching random shit. Like I'm pretty sure I was on like True TV watching like hardcore pawn or some bullshit. Like just some shit that I would never be watching or like never want to watch. And she probably didn't want to watch it either. But I don't even think I asked what she wanted to watch. Like I was just like, all right, turn this shit on, find a fucking show. So we're sitting there for maybe like 5 minutes. She's kind of like up against me. I'm like moving my legs around, like kind of bouncing my knees, and she's like kind of laying in between my legs almost. Like we're basically cuddling, but like it was a weird formation for it. So finally, I didn't even really say anything. I kind of like sat upright. I just kind of grabbed her almost and just like placed her on my lap. Like it was almost like, I don't know, dude. It was almost like picking up like it was like setting up a Lego scene. I had the two little Lego characters and I was like sitting on the couch and, I just kind of grabbed her and like put her on the other Lego guy's lap, but I was the other Lego guy. So I just kind of grabbed her and like put her on my lap and she just kind of knew what was happening. And like at this point, I wasn't even horny. Like I didn't even really want to do this, but I was just kind of like, well, she's here and I feel obligated. So I feel like at this point I kind of have to. Like I'm too deep in this. So we start making out, doing the shindig. I'm not going to get too into it. I'm going pretty hard with it, let me tell you. None of that soft kissing shit. I'm talking like tongue deep bullshit kind of stuff. I'm hitting her with the hickeys. It's getting wild. It's getting funky in the function. It's just going crazy. And we're doing that for maybe like 15, 20 minutes straight. And at this point, the idea of like fucking her or like getting head even was not appealing to me whatsoever. So I was like, all right, maybe as time goes on, this will wear off and I'll like be trying to fuck. So, I end up eating her out. I kind of, lay her down on the couch and do my thing, and I'm coked up. So let me tell you, like, I'm still geeked and I'm excited. And since like I had to kind of lay down because the couch wasn't that wide, so like half of my body was hanging off the couch and she had like the majority of it. And I just kind of like, since I couldn't really move a whole bunch or like fidget because I was like laying down, my tongue was going wild. Let me tell you guys, this shit, it was almost as if you took like a drill, right? And you put my tongue on the end of it, and it was like a high grade like industrial drill, like not some Home Depot bullshit. And you turned the drill on and my tongue was just flying. It was just flicking, it was rotating, it was flapping, it was just going wild. So, we're doing our thing. I'm doing this for maybe like 5-10 minutes and I'm not even like enjoying it at this point. Like she probably was, I don't know. I didn't really pay attention. I was more just focused on like, when am I going to get horny or when is she going to go home so I can do my thing when I'm coked up? Like when can I really enjoy this? And I was also thinking like, why the fuck did I even reel these lines to begin with? Like I didn't think it out. I just sat down and was just like, all right, I have this. Let's do this, and it didn't work well. So I'm eating her out for maybe like 5-10 minutes, maybe even 15. I don't really know. And I'm still feeling pretty geeked. Like at this point, I was coming down a little bit, but I was still nowhere near the point where I was going to be able to get hard and like do anything. Like it would have taken, I think the only thing that would have gotten me hard at that point was like 2 more lines of coke chopped up sitting on the table. That would have gotten me rock hard. I would have fucked the shit out of that table. I would have made her watch while I fucked that table and railed that coke, So anyways, I'm eating her out for maybe like 10 more minutes and I'm just like, there's no way that I can keep this going. Like until I'm actually able to like get hard and do something. There's no way I can keep this shit going. So I kind of like I kind of pull her panties back up. I'm like, all right, and I was like, I need to think of a way to get her out of here without offending her. Because, like, she was attractive. I wanted to do this, but another day, like, today was not the day. Maybe even later that day. I don't know. So what I did was I was like, hold up, I gotta go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom. I bust out my phone, right? I'm trying to think, like, what is the most elaborate fucking shit I can come up with to get this girl to leave, but not think I'm lying. So at this point, it was a school night, right? And it was like, I'm pretty sure it was like a Wednesday or some shit. And my mom normally comes home at like 8 p.m., 8:30 on weeknights, So at this point, it was already like, I want to say maybe 6 o'clock. So I decided my best course of action would be to just tell her that my mom texted me and said she was coming home early. Now, the thing is, I was tweaking out and overthinking it because I was so like, just so awake, like just so hyper almost, that I was just overthinking the fuck out of it. And I was like, well, what if she asked to see the text? Realistically, no one, like, who the fuck does that? Nobody does that. No one's like, let me see, bro. I don't believe you. Like, they'll just be like, okay, and they'll either get the message or think you're telling the truth. Either way, most of the time they're not going to ask to see it. So I created a contact with my own phone number, and I don't even know how long this shit took me. I was probably in that bathroom for fucking decades. And I text myself, and I named myself after my mom. I just named myself Mom, and I was like, hey, got out of work early, on the way home. And then I replied to it as myself, right? And I deleted every other message because, like, when you text yourself on iMessage, it'll show, like, your side, the little blue message sending it, and then you'll receive it on the gray message. So I just deleted the blue ones, except for the ones I meant to respond. The ones where, like, it was my response, I then deleted the gray one. And, like, just this whole elaborate fucking setup. And, like, I just said, okay, see you soon. So I finished that, I perfected it, and I came back out of the bathroom, and she was just kind of still laying there, like, on her phone or whatever, and I was like, yo, I got bad news. And she's like, what? And I was like, my mom said she's on the way home. She got out of work early. You probably got to go home, And she was like, oh, for real? Like, come on. Like, seriously? And I was like, yeah, you really got to go home. And she was like, all right, well, text me later. So she gets up, we do a little kiss goodbye kind of thing, like, it was kind of weird. Like, it wasn't like, we weren't dating, but, like, I don't know, dude. It was a fucking weird dynamic. It's done now, but it was weird. So anyways, she goes, grabs her stuff. She didn't really bring much in. She literally just brought her phone and her car keys in and just left everything else in her car. She goes and hops in her car and leaves. Now at this point, I'm coming down pretty decently. I'm nearly sober. Like, and if you guys have ever done coke, you might know how, at least for me, this is how it is. Whenever I'm, like, coming down and pretty much sober, I still feel that, like, afterglow, kind of just wide awake, functioning highly effect almost is really the best way I can think of putting it. Just like, you still feel like you're on coke, but you're not on coke almost. It's a weird way I don't even know how to explain it. But anyways, so she left. I go out on my back deck this time. I'm like walking in circles. I smoke another cigarette. And when I'm coked up, I fucking chain smoke. So I rail these 2 cigarettes. Or not rail them. Not 2 cigarettes. I was thinking of the coke. Either way, I smoke this cigarette. I go back inside. And I'm kind of upset that I'm out of coke. Like, I probably would have done more. Thank God I didn't, because fuck coke. That shit's horrible for you. And, I decided fuck it. I don't want to be, like, super blatantly fucked up when my mom comes home. So I had to, like, kind of chill out a little more, which was easier to do because I was coming down at this point and, like, getting to the point where I was sober. So I just kind of sat down on my computer, played some music pretty loud, banged that shit, and my mom came home. She said hello to me, didn't really say much, so it was pretty easy to pass as, like, sober. Maybe she knew I wasn't sober, I don't really know, but either way, that's the story I got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a like if you did. And also, the saddest part of this is later that night when I sobered up, I beat my fucking meat like shit that night. It was sad, but either way, hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.